What's going on, bottom line viewers and NFL bettors? It's Mitch back here with another week of NFL Best Bets. The NFL playoffs are officially here, and it's time for my 5 favorite bets for Wild Card Weekend, including 3 spread picks, 1 total, 1 teaser, and a bonus pick to have you fully covered for Wild Card Weekend. But before I get to my favorite picks, my best bets for Wild Card Weekend 2023, I have to let you know what's going on with Underdog Fantasy, because you guys, just like me, probably missing fantasy football already. I know I'm missing fantasy football. So the place I've been going to for my fantasy fix for the playoffs is Underdog Fantasy. And my favorite tournament that they're running right now, which they have 3 different tournaments they're running, is the Mitten. Why the Mitten for? Because it's only a $5 entry. There's grand prizes on Underdog Fantasy. It's very simple to play. Best ball format, as always. Smaller drafts, smaller roster sizes. And if you want a quick tip, just pick the players on the teams that you think are going to advance in the playoffs and stack up on those teams. So if you're looking to play some fantasy football during the NFL playoffs, the place to go, the place to be is the place where I will be. That is Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code BLV when you sign up. Use the link in the description. I'll also put it at the pinned comment at the top of the comment section for you guys to check out. Underdog Fantasy Playoff Best Ball. Check it out. Kicking off my best bets for Wild Card Weekend, my first pick will be the San Francisco 49ers minus the 9.5. I believe the Niners will come out and dominate this 2 versus 7 matchup. We saw last year in the 2 versus 7 matchups, blowouts. The Chiefs dominated the Steelers in the AFC. The Bucs dominated the Eagles in the NFC. There's a big difference between the contenders of this league and the pretenders of this league. And that's exactly what we see in this game. I'm not so sure the Seahawks are the 7th best team in the NFC. I actually evaluate them closer to the 9th best team in the NFC. The Niners, meanwhile, in my opinion, are the team that I'm riding to the Super Bowl. I think they could win the whole thing. I think they may win this NFC. And I think it all starts here. Now, I understand that this game might have some weather impacting it. Some rain, potentially. I've heard monsoon. I don't care if this game is played on the moon. The Niners are going to destroy the Seahawks. There is no individual matchup. There is no side of the football that favors Seattle here. They've played twice already. In both games, the Niners defense absolutely swallowed up the run game, forced Geno Smith to do anything in the pass game. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't score points. They're not going to be able to protect here, especially in San Francisco. And the big plays, if it is raining, are going to be limited to Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf because of the weather. Geno Smith isn't really exactly great in the precipitation. So I believe the Niners defense will set the tone on that side of the ball. If Seattle can't run it, they can't move the ball. On the other side, I believe the Niners will do whatever they please versus Seattle defense that's missing one key cog to slowing down the Niners, which is Jordan Brooks, who got injured out for the year last week, 2 weeks ago, and his presence will be felt here. His lack of presence, because the Niners will be able to run it with Christian McCaffrey, throw it to Christian McCaffrey, the guy that would be dealing with that, going sideline to sideline, sniffing out these zone runs in these lanes and seeing where McCaffrey's going to cut it back. That's Jordan Brooks, that athletic monster in the middle. The guy that would also be covering him is Jordan Brooks. You also talk about George Kittle in the middle of the field where Brock Purdy's going to have a lot of success. That missing middle linebacker is going to be such a huge loss in this in particular matchup. I just don't see the Niners being stopped, quite frankly. This Seattle defense is bad versus the run, and the Niners have too many weapons. You know Shanahan, it's the playoffs. He's going to have extra tricks up his sleeve. I believe the Niners win this game. They dominate this game. They showcase why they are contenders. My bonus pick for this video also is in this game. I like the under 42 in this matchup. because of the potential weather that could exist, but also because I just don't think Seattle's going to score more than 17 on their best day. They didn't score over 13 or 14 points in the first two games. And if the Niners get up big, I believe that they're going to run the ball at the end of the game, play it safe, conservative, and just milk the clock. So I believe that the under is definitely a look. Maybe you look towards the under in the first half potentially, but I do like the under for the game as well as my bonus pick. My second best bet for Wild Card Weekend is the New York Giants getting a field goal at Minnesota. The reason I love the Giants here is because they've already played. I went back, I watched that game. They lost by 3, but there's a lot that the Giants could improve on for this matchup. First of all, health. They're going to get back their number one corner, Adoree Jackson, for this matchup. Did not play in the last game. It's important to have a good corner when you play Justin Jefferson. It's important. And then Xavier McKinney is arguably their second best defensive player outside of Dexter Lawrence. He should be back at safety. TJ Hawkinson had a huge game, scored 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. That's the guy that would cover TJ Hawkinson. I feel the coaching staff of the Giants is better than the Vikings. I feel they will make better adjustments in a second matchup. I believe Don Martindale in particular will win this game for the Giants. I think his ability to set this banged up Vikings offensive line for failure will exist. I feel the Giants will get pressure up the middle of the pocket, really hindering Kirk Cousins' ability to throw the football and get the ball to Justin Jefferson. And Martindale loves to blitz, which is something that Cousins does struggle with. I was on the Giants in the first game when they got 4 or 4.5 points. I now like it in the playoffs, in the big moment, plus the 3. Offensively, Daniel Jones should be able to move the ball as he did kind of at will in the first game. Throwing the football, a wrinkle that you could see is him running a bit more in this game. Saquon had a good day, had a long touchdown on 4th down, and the Giants didn't get any benefit from turnover. I believe they turned it over a couple times. They got a punt blocked in the game, and they had 2 interceptions called back via penalty. So if they're a bit luckier, if they're healthier, and they make the correct adjustments, I believe the Giants are playing better football, and I believe they're the better team. So I'm going to take the G-Men plus the 3 points on the road versus the Vikings. My third best bet for Wild Card Weekend in that Chargers-Jacksonville matchup, it is the absolute most public play you could make, but I'm taking the over between the Jags and the Chargers, over 47.5. I think this number is too low. I believe both offenses will be able to score well into the 20s, because when you look at the matchups, the Chargers are a team that can't really run the ball, but they love to throw it, and they can throw it well, and they have a ton of great receivers. Jacksonville's defense is really good against the run, but they suck against the pass. They're like the 31st, 30th best pass defense in football. I think Justin Herbert could have Rashawn Slater back at left tackle. That would be immense. But they would also have Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Josh Palmer, DeAndre Carter, Austin Eckler. They got a ton of weapons that they can throw the football to. And I believe Herbert's going to throw the ball 40 to 50 times in this playoff matchup in Jacksonville, a place you know the weather's going to be nice. And I believe that he'll put up a ton of points because Jacksonville can't stop the pass. On the flip side, the Chargers are a defense that's very good against the pass, but they do have some issues against the run. And Jacksonville is one of the lone AFC teams that can actually be very balanced, run the ball, throw the ball. They scored a ton of points against the Chargers in the first matchup, and I could see the Jacksonville Jags trying to possess the ball and run it a bit more than they typically do, and then allow Trevor Lawrence to have more kind of downfield explosive shots. And I believe that is a formula that will work against the Chargers, because they'll have to sell out to stop the run, which will open some things out to Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, and company. So I believe both teams will score into the 20s. Something that I also love about this game is both coaches are known to be aggressive. Both love to go for it on 4th down, go for 2-point conversions, things of that nature. I think that also leads to high scoring affairs. So I'm going to take the over 47.5 between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert. My fourth best bet for Wild Card Weekend, I'm taking Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus the 2.5 over the Dallas Cowboys. I bet this game at plus 3. Obviously, 3 is a better number, but 2.5 can still be valuable due to the 2-point conversions, due to the missed extra point potential. This is a game that Tampa Bay matches up extremely well with their opponent, and they're at home. Tom Brady as an underdog is always a thing that you want to back, and Tom Brady in the playoffs is even better. This Bucs team is fired up. This Bucs team knows how to play in the playoffs. They know how to raise their intensity. They have won a Super Bowl together before. And the Dallas Cowboys are the exact opposite. They play well in the regular season. They come out in the playoffs and they just don't show up. And this Dallas team has been trending downward as the season has moved towards January. And I just see and disagree with a lot of people that believe the Cowboys are like this outright better, more talented team than Tampa Bay. I don't see it that way. I actually just feel like Tampa has underwhelmed. They've dealt with injuries. They've kind of struggled with figuring out their identity from a coaching standpoint, but they're not less talented than Dallas. Dallas has more holes from a roster perspective than Tampa Bay. They have holes in the secondary. They've lost multiple corners this year, which Tom Brady can attack. They really have never been able to stop the run this year at a consistent basis. Offensively, Dak Prescott's been turning the ball over at a rapid rate. He leads the NFL in interceptions despite missing games. And their offensive line is also beat up. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, mostly due to injuries. Like I said, Tom Brady is going to have a healthy team here and a healthy offense. Mike Evans is healthy. Chris Godwin is healthy. Chris Godwin didn't even play in the first game, which I was at, by the way, and they still were able to move the ball throughout the entire first half. They didn't score touchdowns, but they got into field goal range, and they didn't punt until the third quarter. So I believe the Bucs in this matchup will be able to throw the ball versus Dallas. I do believe what we saw in the first game was they could run it for the first time ever because they don't run the ball at all. Maybe they can run it just a little bit to balance it out, but I believe Chris Godwin has a great matchup in this game. Mike Evans played well against Trayvon Diggs in the first game, and then whatever else they get from the other playmakers will be nice. But I think a lot of people will be surprised by how well the Bucs offense plays in this game. I think they found a bit of a rhythm versus Carolina. And on the other side of the ball is where I really like the game. I feel like Tampa Bay has a big, strong interior defensive line that makes life difficult in both the pass and the run game for Dallas because they're dealing with their center being injured right now. They are a team that really needs to be able to run the ball, and if they can't run the ball, it forces Dak into more attempts, which forces him into more turnovers and more mistakes. I believe that can happen in this game. I don't see Dallas running all over Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay does have a deceptively strong secondary led by Carlton Davis, who can match up with CeeDee Lamb. And I just don't love the other targets out there for Dallas. I don't think this is the Amari Cooper Cowboys. Michael Gallup hasn't been the same player. Noah Brown is just whatever to me. I feel that the Tampa defense will have a plan to pressure Dak and force a couple turnovers out. So Todd Bowles will be in his bag for this game. I like the Bucs here. I just think they match up really well with Dallas. They're at home. They're the underdog. They're the experienced playoff team, and I will take them plus the points in this game. Another way that I love to play the Bucs this weekend is in a teaser, which is my 5th and final best bet, and the one that obviously you feel most confident in because it is a teaser. You're getting those extra points. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus the 8.5, which is absolutely money because you cross the 3, you cross the 6, you cross the 7, and the 8, which creates a 2-possession game that must happen for Dallas to cover that 8.5. On the other leg of the teaser, I'm going to go with the Giants. There's a couple different ways you could go with other teams. Maybe you like the Bengals. Personally, I'm going to go with the Giants plus the 9. I just see this being a one-score game either way. Like, I almost feel it will be impossible for either team to win by 10 points. I just don't see that happening in any circumstance because both of these teams love to play close games. And the Vikings are just not talented enough to blow anybody in these playoffs out. So I'm going to take the Giants and the Bucs as my teaser of the week. Those are my wild card weekend best bets. Enjoy wild card weekend. Let me know your best bet in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out Underdog Fantasy and use the promo code BLV when you sign up. It's Mitch. Gronk spiked the like button. Peace.